Di
Nasi lemak masak sambal.
Oh, well done. I hope you remember lah sebab Madam rasa topik ini agak susah sebab maybe is some of your first time in learning this abstract concept. So a short abbreviation annotation nasi lemak masak sambal. Awak tak boleh skip step. Kena ada nasi dulu, baru ada sambal. So ML and MS is following the sequence. So a little bit recap for all of you. So for this one, you need to understand what of each quantum number represent. So we have the n, the principal quantum number, which represent the shell or energy level, or maybe it called the period, and it determine the size. Function dia awak kena tahu. N determine the size. So that means if I got n equals to 4 compared to n equals to 2, that means the n equals to 4 is slightly bigger than the 2. So it represents size. Okay, second quantum number L. What is the name of L?
angular momentum quantum number.
Okay, angular momentum quantum number, or we call it azimuthal or subsidiary, or ada satu nama lagi, ordinary. Okay, semua ikut ada nama formal. The common one we call it angular. Okay, but informal we can call it as subshell. Okay, so this one is important to determine the shape. So, Madam harap awak masih ingat lagi, kalau L value sama dengan kosong represent S shape. Okay, L equals to 1 represent P shape. L equals to 2 represent D shape. Okay, and when L equals to 3, it represent F. 4, 5 tak ada dalam syllabus awak. So, awak ingat 4 nombor ni saja. Start from 0, which is S. Okay, and then the number of subshell depends on n. So how many subshell we have, it depends on our values of n. So this one I want to look at it later on. Okay, and then after that we have our quantum number m, which is the magnetic quantum number, determine the orientation. Orientation, in other words, we call it the direction. So n represent the orbitals. Number of orbitals depends on each subshell. So kalau masih ingat, kalau ada n sama dengan 2, kita ada L sama dengan 0. So this one is all you need to list out. So for example, we say n equals to 2. Okay, possible value of L represent equals to
0 and 1.
0 and 1. So untuk sesiapa yang sudah lupa nak carikan value L ini, dia mesti daripada 0 sampailah n tolak 1. So n dekat sini adalah 2, 2 tolak 1, jadi maksimum adalah sampai 1 sahaja. So this one is what I say, the possible value. Yang lain yang tak ada dalam list adalah impossible ataupun tidak dibenarkan. It's not allowed. Whatever in the list, yes, it is allowed. So when we want to see the value of M, M depends on the L. So kalau L awak sama dengan 0, M automatic sama dengan 0. Okay, kalau L sama dengan 1, okay, M dia akan jadi negative 1, 0, positive 1. So for your revision also, the M value starting from negative L to 0 to positive L. Kalau L awak punya nombor adalah 2, so dia akan jadi negatif 2, negatif 1, 0, positif 1, positif 2. Okay. And the last one, what is S represent? What is the name of this S? Awak punya
Electron
sambal dia lah
spin
apa?
quantum number.
Okay, electron spin quantum number. Maksudnya awak hanya ada 2 spin saja. Half, positive half, or negative half. So untuk sambal ini, represent your electron, directions of electron, spin of electron. So one orbital maximum, you can only have 2 electron. But the total maximum number of electron depends on number of orbital. So masih sama lagi lah, kalau awak ada 3 orbital, Dekat sini 3 orbital, maka maximum electron adalah 6. Because each of the orbital accommodate 2 electrons. So 2, 4, 6. So you need to understand how to calculate for the maximum number of electron. Okay. Lepas tu untuk point yang ini, last week Madam lupa nak highlightkan balik. Ada dalam awak punya jadual yang 4 kotak tu. Bawa principal quantum number, the last point. Okay, so each energy level N has N subshell. Macam mana nak terangkan ayat ini? So let's see. So if let's say we take the one just now, N equals to 2. Okay, L equals to 0 or 1. So we have 2S subshell and we have 2P subshell. So kalau awak punya energy level, you punya value adalah 2, maka awak akan ada 2 subshell. This is how we say. 2 and energy level 2, we have 2 subshell. Or you can make another example as well, we get 3. So kalau dia adalah 3, L, what is the value? What is the value of your L? 0 sampai 2. Okay, so 3, 0, what is your subshell? 3S. 3, 1, what is the subshell? 3P.
3P.
3, 2, what is the subshell?
3D.
So when my N value equals to 2, I have 3 subshell. 1, 2, 3, which we use to represent this sentence. Each energy level N has N subshell. Kalau N sama dengan 4, ada berapa subshell?
4.
4. So kita akan ada 4S, 4P, 4D dengan 4F. Okay?
Okay.
Right. This one is what we revised about last lesson, yeah? Okay, so over here also Madam want to highlight, recall back the maximum number of electron in the orbital or in the subshell. So if you see S subshell, doesn't matter, is 2S, 3S, 4S, the maximum number is 2, okay, which represent by this diagram. Okay, and then P subshell, maximum number of electrons, 6, because you have 3 orbitals, altogether 6 electrons. For D subshell, maybe it will be 3D, 4D, 5D. The maximum number of electrons is 10, because you have 5 orbitals. And for the F subshell, maximum electron 14, because you have 7 orbitals. So diagram ini pun ada dalam awak punya nota, boleh refer dan boleh try to understand it. Kalau nak cakap memorize, kalau awak tak faham, memorize sahaja akan susah sikit lah. So I prefer you to understand first before you memorizing, yeah. Okay. Is there any questions up until here?
No, madam.
Okay, so here's a little bit of an example. The examples also is already in the notes, but we just go through for this one. So if you want to jot down any notes, feel free. So let's see the question number 1. List out all possible subshell in energy level 1, 2, 3. So like what we've done before, the only difference is now I put it in the table. So if let's say over here we have N equals to 1, what's your value of L? 0. So the subshell will be 1?
1S.
So if you have value N equals to 2, we have 0 and 1. 2 boleh tak?
No.
2 tak boleh sebab dia akan sampai N tolak 1 sahaja. 0 sampai N tolak 1 Okay, so in this case, we have our 2S and also 2P. And then after that, if you have N equals to 3, what's the possible value of L?
0, 1, 2.
0, 1, 2. We have 3S, 3P, and 3D. So kalau awak nampak 3F, something is wrong because F represented by the value L equals to 3, which is impossible. So it is not allowed. So kalau awak nampak 2D, nampak 3F, something is wrong. So maksudnya kalau tak ada dalam list, maka dia tak boleh, tak wujud. It's not allowed, it's impossible. Okay, and you need to know the reason why. Maksudnya kalau tak ada dalam list, maka mereka tak wujud. Or sometimes it's called impossible. Sometimes it asks why it is not allowed. So you need to list out the values. Okay. Question number 2. For the following subshell, so it's given you 2p, 3s, 4d, xy. Okay. Xy adalah satu abbreviation. Meaning is one of the d subshell. Madam nak tanya dekat sini. Dekat D kan, value L dia lah apa ya?
M dia 14 lah.
L. Value L.
L
untuk
dia
D.
3. 2.
Value is 2. How many orbitals for a D subshell?
6.
Hey,
Entah, sekejap.
5.
5. Sebab D value L dia 2. So M dia ada negatif 2, negatif 1, kosong, positif 1, positif 2 ada 5. So this XY is actually represent one of the number. Dia mungkin negatif 2, mungkin kosong, mungkin positif 2. So madam nak bagi tahu dulu sebab nanti kita akan masuk juga topik ni. Okay, so look back at the questions again, yeah. List the value of quantum number N, L, and M and state the number of orbital in each subshell. Okay, so for our A, what is your value of N? Where's the value of N?
2.
2.
2. Value of L?
0.
1. And value of M?
Negative 1, 0, 1.
Positive 1. Yang ini positif baik awak letak ya. Sebab dia represent orientation. Ada negatif, ada positif. So yang positif ini walaupun awak faham satu adalah positif, tapi letak juga sign ini. So in this case, we have 3 orbitals. State the number of orbitals. So over here, we have 3 orbitals. Okay, sebab dia hanya indicate P saja. So untuk B, what is your value of N? It is 3. The value of L?
0.
The value of M? 0 as well. Because it depends on value of L. Ingat yang M ini kena ikut L. So kalau sini kosong, M value dia kosong. So berapa orbital kalau saya hanya ada nombor, satu nombor saja? 1 orbital sahaja. Okay, so now look at our C, 4dxy. Value of 4 is our energy level. How about our L?
2.
3.
2. Okay, so kalau kita tak tengok ini M yang possible ikut L sama dengan 2 ada berapa nombor?
5.
5.
Okay, so madam list out semua ni. But when you see the abbreviations over here, it means I only choose either one of these orbital. So kalau dekat bawah sini awak nampak XY, YX ke ada nama-nama yang lain, maksudnya dia represent satu orbital saja. So in this case, I only have 1 orbital. Okay, so dalam awak punya handout over there, I write down all. Tapi awak kalau tak nak confuse, tulis satu jawapan cukup. So dekat case ini, satu orbital sahaja. Kalau ada nama dekat sini. Ataupun madam tukar macam ni. Kalau untuk A, awak tengok. If let's say I ask, how many orbitals do I have for 2py? Kalau ada abbreviation, maksudnya represent satu orbital sahaja. Boleh faham?
Boleh, madam.
Madam,
Ada nama represent satu orbital sahaja ya. Ya,
Madam,
Hazim.
jadi kiranya kalau ada macam yang huruf kecil ni, dia kiranya satu orbital je.
Ya.
Tak kira walaupun ada dua, ada macam XY ni. XY ke Y saja.
Okay. XY represent satu orbital. So nama dia XY. So nanti awak tengok tadi kita listkan 5 kan. So dia akan ada 5 nama yang berbeza. Okay. So XY kira satu lah. Okay.
Okay, baik.
Alright. So we see what some more examples over here. We have our third questions. Okay, so write a set of quantum number. Madam, nak awak tulis dekat awak punya nota atas awak punya kertas ke buku nota ke whatever. Right over here. When you see something like this, a set of quantum number, it means I need the 4 quantum number inside one bracket. Maksudnya awak mesti kena ada values for N, values for L, values for M, and also S. Tadi semua kita list out saja. Kita tulis N sama dengan apa, L sama dengan apa, M sama dengan apa. Semua ini adalah untuk list sahaja. Dia bukan set. Please pay attention to over here. This is the list. But now we want a set. So yang ini pun kena highlight jugalah the English language. A set. That means only one set is required. Sometimes the question will ask, write all the possible sets of quantum number. So you need to list out all possible quantum number. Tapi untuk yang ini, kita hanya perlukan satu set sahaja. So perlulah satu bracket sahaja. Okay, so let's look at this one. If we have 4s, we list out first, n equals to 4, else equals to 0. Possible value of m adalah
0.
kosong. Okay, so to put it inside the bracket, your address kan. Okay, so value of n 4, value of L 0, value of M 0, and the last one represent the spin. So ingat tak lagi value apa yang madam highlight untuk spin? Ada 2 value sahaja.
Positive half, negative
Positive half, negative half.
Positive half or negative half. But now I only require one set. So either one can do. So either you give me 400 positive half or you give me 400 negative half because I only need one set. Is everyone very clear?
Clear.
Jadi salah satu je lah. Jadi
Idea.
kalau
Yang last
melainkan
kali
dia bagi
ni.
tahu nak yang positifnya ke macam mana?
Dia tak akan bagi tahu awak nak positive value ke negative value. But there is some cases also like this. Let's say madam bagi sekarang ni 4s2. Madam kenapa ada 2? Maksudnya kita ada 2 elektron. This one is in chapter 2.3 later on you will see. So kalau dekat sini ada bilangan 2, maksudnya dia perlu 2 set. Dia ada 2 elektron. Maka pada masa itu awak akan ada 2 set. But this one, we just need to use one set. So either one set can do. Positive half or negative half. Okay, try about another one. For 3p. So we try to list out first. N value dia 3. How about L? How about L?
1.
1. So your n value can either be -1, 0, or +1. So in order to get one set of the quantum number, so we fill in the bracket. We have 3, 1. Let's say I put -1 and then I choose
-1.
positive half. Boleh juga. Ataupun madam nak letak 3, 1, 0, positive half. Pun boleh, tak ada masalah. So you can see in the answer I given, there is altogether 6 set. You only give me one set. So the values over here, madam highlight kan positive, negative 1, 0 ataupun positive 1, semua boleh pakai. Positive half ataupun negative half pun boleh pakai. Okay?
Madam?
Ya.
Jadi kiranya secara amnya, yang orbital dengan yang satu lagi ni, yang rotation tu, boleh pilih salah satu lah.
Yes, because they're only required for one set. Let's say kalau soalan tanya, write all the possible sets, so you will give all. Okay, you will give all. Okay, so we proceed to question number 4, yeah? Am I going too fast? You can still follow.
Oh,
No, madam.
Yes, madam. Can follow.
Okay. So for question number 4, there is 4 questions altogether. For part A, what is the destination for the subshell with N5 and the lambda? Why become lambda already? This one is L, eh? Okay, L equals to 1. This destination. This one is the name of your subshell. So like what you done for 5, S, 5P, 5D, nama dia. So untuk A dia adalah apa? 5?
5P. P.
5P. Okay. For B, indicate the values of M for this orbital. So senang kan? Sebab value kita tahu. Negative 1, 0, positive 1. Make sure everybody write down the sign. Saya tak nak tengok yang tak ada sign. Okay, C. How many orbitals are there in this subshell?
3.
3 orbitals represented by this 3 number. And the last one, give all sets of quantum number for electron that occupy this orbital. Okay, so now I want to ask, in 5p orbital, what is the maximum number of electron?
6.
Agree?
6.
Name?
Yes, agree.
Maximum is 6 electrons. So how many sets of quantum numbers do you have?
3.
How many sets of quantum number? Kalau madam cakap satu set quantum number untuk satu elektron. Sekarang awak ada 6 elektron. Berapa set awak kena ada?
6.
6. So for here, because they ask for all set, then you need to give 6 sets. So I have 5, 1, negative 1, positive half. Maybe I change the value to 0. I can have 5, 1, 0, positive half. I have still got one more orbital. So I have 5, 1, positive half, positive 1, positive half. Lagi 3 adalah bila awak tukarkan spin of that electron. So 5, 1, negative 1, the positive half become negative half. Awak cuma tukar dia punya spin saja. Daripada ke atas, dia jadi ke bawah. Okay, and then after that we have 5, 1, 0, and then change it to negative half. And then we have 5, 1, 0, and then negative half. So altogether you have 6 sets of quantum number. So madam nak highlight dah bagi tahu semua orang dekat sini. Quantum number, satu quantum number macam satu address untuk satu elektron. Okay, satu address untuk elektron. Kalau dekat rumah awak ada 3 orang adik-beradik, nama berbeza tapi dia tinggal rumah sama. So mungkin dia ada salah satu nombor akan berbeza. So that means no 2 electrons can have the same sets of quantum number. Awak mesti kena ingat. Okay. Boleh semua orang?
Boleh. Boleh, madam.
Boleh, madam.
Okay, so ini adalah sets of quantum number. Unless the questions ask you to list out. Kalau list macam tadi yang kita buat, N sama dengan berapa, L sama dengan berapa. Okay, so let's try this one together. Write all the possible sets of quantum number for electrons in 1s. Okay, 1s ada berapa elektron?
2.
2 electrons.
2.
So how many sets do you have?
2.
2 sets. So write down in your paper what is the sets of quantum number. So this one I won't ask you to submit in the Google Classroom. So discuss over here, then you can record straight away. 1, 0, 0, positive half, And what is about another set?
Sama, cuma tukar negative half.
Okay, sama sebab N dia value L. L sebab S shape dia kosong. N follow. And we change the spin of electron to become negative half. Okay. The second one we have over here is 2p3. Okay, maksud 3 ini, because we know in the p subshell total we will have 6 electrons. But now I only need 3. Okay, I only need 3. That means I have 3 sets. So the value will be 2. You continue.
2, 1.
2, 1. Negative 1. Positive half. Okay, ataupun kita nak perlu 3. So daripada 6 set itu awak pilih 3. So in this case I will choose 2, 1. I change the orbital to become 0 and positive half. I stick to positive half first. And then after that I have 2, 1, positive 1 and then positive half. So dekat sini madam akan stick kepada spin dia semua sama arah dulu. I stick to positive half for the first 3 electron. Okay. So for the number 3, 3pz. Okay, 3pz represent 1 orbital. You can write it over here, represent 1 orbitals only. Okay, so how many sets do I have in each orbitals?
2.
2. So how many sets do I have?
2.
2 as well. So write down. So 3, we got 1. We got, let's say I want to put only 1 orbital. So the value of n, you need to stick it. If you choose negative 1, so both set, you need to be the same. Negative 1 and then negative half.
Oh teacher, kalau ada huruf kat bawah dia tu maksudnya pilih satu
Orbital
set je
saja.
lah.
Satu orbital saja.
Oh, satu orbital. Cuma just positive half dengan negative half tu je lah kita ubah.
Ya, betul. Yang Z ini nanti, after this exercise, we will try to see what is represented by the Z, Y. Tadi kita nampak X, Y kan? Okay, later. We complete this one first. And the last one, we have 3D2. How many sets do we have? How many sets is 3D2?
2
Two
sets.
sets. Okay, so you can choose lah. Tadi kita tadi tak ada. So dalam d orbital, you have 5 orbital. So maximum 10 electron. So sepatutnya dia kalau dia bagi 3D, we will have 10 set. But now I only need you to write down 2 sets because it's already indicate 3D 2. So 2 sets only. So it will be coming 3, 2, negative 2 if you would like to choose between negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2. Okay. And then again, the same thing. If let's say I know already there is all orbitals present. Dia tak ada indicate orbital minus 1. Dia tak ada short form macam ni. Dia tak ada Z. Dia tak ada XY. So maksudnya kita akan pilih 2 orbital. 3, 2, negative 1. Let's say I change the value. Negative 2, negative 1. But I keep the spin of electron same direction. Ataupun awak pilih.
Memang kalau kita pilih yang lain dengan spin yang lain juga tak apa kan?
Sekarang dekat sini tak apa kalau awak pilih. Sebab nanti 2.3 awak akan nampak kenapa tak boleh. Dekat sini
Oh,
madam accept lagi. Kalau daripada 10 pilihan awak pilih mana-mana 2, accept lagi. Sampai sini sajalah. Sebab dia ada rules lain yang kita kena ikut.
jadi kiranya kalau nak ikut jalan selamat, dia orbital boleh tukar, cuma dia punya direction dia tak boleh tukar.
Ya, so kita ikut untuk positif semua
Okay.
dulu untuk spin positive half, and then after you have done for all positive half spin, then we change it to negative half. Okay, but no problem if you want to choose any 2 set from the 10. Madam boleh accept lah. This one is for you to practice how to write down the set of quantum number. Untuk objektif soalan ini cuma nak test awak macam mana nak keluarkan address electron saja. Yes, who is asking question just now?
Madam, untuk 2P3, kalau kita tulis negative half pun tak apa kan?
Tak apa, madam boleh accept.
Okay, madam, thank you.
Okay. Right, for question number 2, for each list of quantum number, determine the number of orbitals and the total number of electrons. So ini cuma nak ulang kaji sahaja kan? Okay. Like subshell, when n equals to 3, how many subshells do you have? You will have 3s, 3p, and also 3D. Sebab sekarang ni untuk sini cuma fix value n saja. Dia tak bagi awak L value, dia tak ada bagi m value. So that means you need to list out all. So when n equals to 3, L equals to 0, 1, and 2. So you will have 3s, 3p, 3d. Berapa orbitals ada?
Orbital
5.
6.
Alamak. 3s, 3p, 3d. S ada berapa orbital?
1.
1. P ada berapa orbital?
5.
5 pula. 3. Negatif 1,
Tiga.
kosong, positif 1 kan? Untuk D?
Ni baru 5.
5. Negatif 2, negatif 1, kosong, positif 1, positif 2. Totalkan semua berapa?
9.
Yes.
Okay.
Sebab dekat soalan ini dia hanya fixed energy level saja. So untuk yang lain, SPD 012, awak kena listkan semua. This one represent by M. M equals to 0, negative 1, 0, positive 1, negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2. Okay. Total value for electrons?
18.
18. Because we know maximum for each is 2, then 2 times. Now you got 18. Okay. How about the second one? N equals to 4, L equals to 3. So what is your subshell?
4D. 4
For F.
F.
For F. Thank you very much. So number of orbitals, kalau F? 1, 3, 5.
7.
Hai.
7.
5.
5. Hey, value of F is equals to 3. So value of M? Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. Like kira berapa nombor yang ada?
7.
7. Tulis kat sini. 7. So awak mesti kena ingat. S 1 orbital. P 3 orbital. D 5 orbital. Kalau F 7. Okay? So now total number of electrons we have altogether is 14 because 7 times 2. Okay, level up a little bit more specific. N equals to 3, L equals to 1, M equals to M equals to 0. So maksudnya kita ada berapa orbital? Kalau nampak satu value M saja.
1.
Satu orbital. So dekat subshell ini awak boleh pilih 3px ataupun 3py ataupun 3pz. Tuliskan XYZ sebagai dia punya abbreviation. Dia punya nama orbital. Okay, pilih salah satu tapi yang penting satu orbital sahaja. So bila satu orbital, maximum electron is only 2. Yes.
Madam, dia tak letak 3P je.
Kalau 3p saja,
kalau
dia akan bagi sampai value L. Tapi sekarang sebab soalan bagi n value, so awak mesti kena letak nama.
Okay. Baik, madam.
So this one you copy first. In the next slide, we will see what is the name. This name is all fixed, huh? So for p, any of the p orbital, you will have px, py, pz. So next one, a little bit up again. N equals to 5, L equals to 2, M we have -2, 0, and +2. How many orbitals?
3.
3. We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so tulis dekat sini 3 dulu. Berapa number electron?
6.
6. 6, 3 darab 2 eh. Okay, so for this one, I want you to jot down. Hold on. So, madam buka besar sikit tak dapat nak tulis. So, for this one, you can write down. Either you will have 5dxy ataupun 5dxz ataupun 5dyz. Or, we can also have 5dz square or 5dx square minus y square. So nampak tak semua nama-nama ini, okay, represent each of the value of your m. Tadi kita nampak -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. So represent for all of this. Nama-nama semua adalah fixed. So you boleh pilih mana-mana 3 yang awak nak letak dalam blank space here.
Z square.
Yeah, yes, z square.
And then sebelah tu 5D
X square,
X square
minus
minus
y
y
square.
square.
Yes. Next
Tak,
picture
minus
dalam
y
nota
square.
ada. Dalam nota ada. Nanti Madam explain ya. Awak catat dulu. Okay. And the last one over here we have n equals to 4, L equals to 1, M equals to 1. M equals to 0, which represent only one orbital. And now I have S value. So apa yang awak boleh faham dekat last list of quantum number?
Ada satu elektron je.
Satu elektron sahaja. Satu orbital sahaja. Satu elektron sahaja. Sebab sekarang ni dia bagi awak spin of electron. Which is only represent one electron. So for this one, the last column over here, you can either write down 4px or 4py or 4pz. Either one. Now it is similar to your third question just now. The only difference is the value of your n. Okay, so semua value ini catat. Madam nak tunjuk awak kenapa kita ada nama-nama yang berbeza untuk P and also D. Okay, which is this one. And you can refer to your notes as well. Everything is inside the notes already. Okay, so besides you know how to list out NLMS, the nasi lemak makan masak sambal, you need to know how to give a set of quantum number NLMS. You also need to know how to draw or sketch the shape. Okay, so now the shape represented by the value of L. So let's see S, P, and D. F shape awak tak perlu belajar ya. Shape hanya fokus kepada S, P, D sahaja. Okay, so in this case, S orbital, it is spherical shape. Okay, and it's only got one direction. When we say one direction, imagine there is a ball. Doesn't matter how you turn it, it also looks the same. So we say it is only having one orientation. And when you see the values, L equals to 0, we represent the S shape. The value of M you only have 1, which represent one orbital. So ini semua adalah satu orbital saja. Yang ini adalah satu S. Ini 2S. Ini 3S. Apa perbezaan antara tiga benda ni?
Size.
Size. And size represent by what?
N.
N.
Yes, the value of your N. So N indicate the size. So the higher the value of N, the bigger is the size. So kalau dapat S, memang senang lah. 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S semua nampak sama. Cuma size dia berbeza. Okay. And then if you see on this diagram, we have three axes. We have X axis, Y axis, Z axis. Okay. And then for p orbital, we represent using dumbbell shape. Okay, dumbbell shape. Dumbbell macam mana? Dumbbell macam awak nampak macam ni lah dumbbell. This is dumbbell. So each dumbbell represent one orbital. And we have three orbitals with different orientation, which is just now I show you the PX, PY, PZ. So kalau awak tengok refer balik kepada value, p orbital we have value L equals to 1. So the orbitals we have -1, 0, +1. So as you look at the diagrams over here, kalau sekarang sini kita letak PX, 2PX, this dumbbell orbital will lie along the x-axis. Awak mesti kena lukis pada kertas. Macam mana nak lukis? So you draw all these three axes. Okay, and then you draw the dumbbell on top of the x-axis. So we call it as 2px. Ataupun ada yang dia minta 3px, then you draw exactly the same with a little bit bigger in size. Okay, and then if this one is 2py, that means this dumbbell, this orbital lies along the y-axis. Then we call it as py orbital. If you want to name it as 2pz, then you lie along the z-axis. So for all this x, y, z, you can either put this one as -1, this one 0, this one +1. Boleh juga madam shuffle. Dia tak ada masalah sebab tiga-tiga ni yang berlainan hanya orientation saja. So maybe I want to put this one 0. This one I want to put -1. This one I want to put +1. Also can, no problem. But I just arrange the easiest pattern I can. -1, 0, +1, x, y, z. So easier for me to take it. Tapi kalau awak nak randomly put this one +1, this one 0, this one -1, also can, no problem. Okay, so the sentence over here, all the three orbitals are identical in size, in shape, and in energy, but only different in their orientation. So direction yang mereka tunjuk adalah berbeza. That's why we say value of M represent or indicate the orientation. Is everyone good over here?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Sampai P masih okay lagi. Let's see for D orbitals. Okay. For D orbital, there is two basic shape. We can either use clover leaf shape or the donut shape. Okay, clover leaf or donut. There is altogether 5 orbital. We have dxz, xy, yz, x square minus y square, and then z square. So dekat sini, kena banyak buat practice. Okay, so madam akan tunjuk awak dalam an AR view. Tapi AR view madam nak guna handphone. Kejap ya. Hold on a second. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen from madam's phone, yeah? So this apps also you can use it later on. So now I cannot see your the screen. So you need to let me know from time to time what have you seen. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay, apa yang awak nampak dekat sini?
A circular shape.
An S orbital.
Okay, so an s orbital. So just now in this diagram, so blue color is our x-axis, gray color is z, green color is y. So if we used to represent the s orbital, it looks something like this. Can you imagine, right? Boleh? So tak kisahlah dari mana awak nampak, satu orientasi saja. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
And then after that, let's just see the px orbital. Okay, a little bit lompat sikit So can you see over here? The blue axis is our x-axis, so we have the dumbbell shape along the x-axis. Is it okay?
Yes, madam.
Okay, hold on a little bit. So ini apps yang madam cooperate with another lecturers. That's why I say this week are a little bit packed because of this thing. Okay, we have a lot of competition for this one. Cuma dia punya apps kurang stable sikit. Tapi boleh nampak lagi kan?
Boleh.
Okay, so tell me about this one. Kejap ya, madam naik atas sikit. Grey color, what is the axis?
Z.
Z axis.
Ya, yang dia punya axis ni pun ada warna ke?
Iyalah, ada warna.
Oh, sebab saya punya nota hitam putih.
Oh, nota memang hitam putih. Okay, and let's just see the last one over here. And we have the z-axis. Okay. And then after that, let's look at the d orbital. So for this one, Sekejap ya. Okay, apa yang awak nampak?
Donut
Ring.
the orbital.
Okay, this one is our dz square orbitals. You can see the donut. Can you see the donut?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Cuma dekat nota, kejap ya, dia kurang stable sikit. Cuma dia punya direction, dalam awak punya nota dia pointing upwards. But no problem. Okay, you just indicate the axis only. Okay, you just indicate the axis. So for this one, z square, that means both of your orbital is along with the z axis. Okay. And then for this one, x square minus y square. So for just now, the blue axis represent the x. Okay, y axis represent the green color. So when you see the x square, y square, that means both of this clover leaf is along the x-axis and y-axis. Boleh nampak tak?
Madam,
Yes.
Boleh.
Okay.
apa bezanya dxz dengan dyz?
We only have dz square. X square minus y square is represented by the shape I show for you. So dia cuma nama beza dengan lukisan yang awak kena practice lah. Okay, so for this one is dx square minus y square. The clover leaf is on top of the x and y axis. Okay, kita teruskan The next one. This is wet a little bit. Uyuh, besarnya. Okay, apa yang awak nampak? If let's say for this one is your y-axis, The blue color is your z-axis. The grey color is our z-axis. Apa yang awak nampak sebenarnya? Loop dia dekat mana? Loop dia dekat mana? Ada tak atas paksi?
No.
No. So when you see X, Y, YZ, XX, maksudnya yang clover leaf adalah antara paksi. Okay, so for this case, we have YZ. So you can see the shape over here is between the Y axis and the gray color Z axis. Okay, so the loop is in between the axis. Okay, next one. So now I have X, Z. So antara paksi apa kalau ada di X, Z? Kalau ada DXZ, what is the axis that you want to refer to?
Y.
XZ, X and Z. Kalau awak nampak dekat sini, grey color is your Z, blue color is your X. So fokus pada X dengan Z sahaja. Okay, so dia punya loop adalah antara awak punya paksi X and paksi Z. Can you see this?
Yes,
Any
madam.
questions about this? And last one, we have the d orbitals, which is referred to dxy. So kalau kita tengok pada dia punya diagram, okay, so it's between the x and y axis. Okay, it looks something like this in between the orbitals. Okay, so any questions before I end this sharing?
No.
Ada.
No, madam.
Okay, one more sharing.
Can I add something?
Yes.
So the electron can be found inside the space, or actually the electron travels along the surface of the shape?
Very good questions. Electrons inside the orbitals. So just now we said one orbital can accommodate 2 electrons, right? So imagine we have one s orbital. So dua-dua elektron dalam orbital tersebut. Kalau ada p orbitals, that what is that called? The dumbbell shape, right? So inside the dumbbell shape, you got 2 electrons.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more sharing. You actually can download these apps to help you to visualize. Sebab madam faham, nak awak lukis atas kertas pun susah sikit. So now you can see my screen. This is the sharing. It's not from our college one, maybe international one lah. So you can see this is the s orbital, and then you can slightly turn around. Can you see my screens moving?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
So if you proceed this as a p orbital, so whatever lah you represent, you name it. If you want to put this one as the pz, then you just write on top of this axis, the red axis, the z orbital. So it becomes 2pz. Okay. And then after that, this one is our d orbitals. But we know that d, there's a lot. F orbital, nak belajar tak macam mana nak lukis?
Oh, terrible.
Apalah teacher.
Tak adalah, ni tak ada dalam syllabus Okay,
Siapa
so
yang
there are
pintu
3
depan
types of
faham.
p. Sorry, Irfan?
Terlalu.
Okay, so there are 3 types of p orbital. Kita tahu kita punya value m ada negatif 1, kosong dengan positif 1. So pz, px, py, pz. So here you go. So py, nampak tak py dekat sini? Satu loop represent satu orbital. Lepas tu pz, lepas tu px. Tapi awak cuma asingkan jangan tiga-tiga buat dalam satu axis. Asingkan. So kalau ada 3 orbital, maksudnya akan ada 3 paksi yang lain-lain. 3 diagram yang lain-lain. Okay. There are 5 types of d orbitals and name it below. The d, please put it as the small letter d. Jangan pakai capital letter d. Okay, so this one is the dxy. As just now we Madam show is between the x and y axis. So you can slightly turn around and then see, okay, it's between the axis. And then we see YZ is between axis Y and Z axis. Okay, kurus. Awak punya orbital kurus ke, gemuk ke, tak kisah. Janji di antara faksi. Okay, so this one is between X and Z. Okay, and then this one is a little bit special. X squared minus Y squared. It is along the X axis and Y axis. And last one, we have the DZ square. Ini nampak macam satu donut. Yang tadi madam tunjuk dia melintang kan. Sebenarnya awak boleh lukis macam ni. Yang naik ke atas macam mana pusing. Tak kisahlah awak imagine. Dia mesti along the Z axis with a donut in between. Okay, we call this one is a donut shape. Yeah? A very special one for DZ square. Okay, so now let's see some example. Ini tak ada dalam syllabus, tapi boleh jawab tadi soalan yang Su tanya. Okay, so let's say over here we have helium. Helium, we have a proton number of 2. That means we have 2 electrons. So inside the orbitals, we have 1s2. Okay, nampak tak elektron dalam situ? Did you see electrons? 1, 2. There are 2 electrons over here. So that means 2 of this electron is inside one orbital. Did you get it?
Yes, madam.
Satu orbital sahaja sebab 1s satu orbital. So now we have beryllium. So beryllium proton number 4. So in this case we have 1s2, 2s2. So the electrons inside. So if you can see the inner one, we have 1s. And the outer one we have 2s. So 2s2, that means there's 2 electrons. So macam mana nak keluarkan 1s2, 2s2, it will be our next subtopic. Okay? So I just show you the diagram how it look like. So this is for carbon. We have 1s, the innermost, and 2s, the red color, the second layer for the red color. And then we have 2p2. Okay, sekarang madam nak tunjuk 2p2. Maksudnya berapa elektron? How many electrons we have? 2p2, how many electrons? P2, how many electrons?
6.
P2. 2p2. Okay, the number value on top of that, 2, represent you have 2 electrons. So if you can see over here, we have 3 dumbbell. Nampak tak 3 dumbbell? Satu dekat paksi hijau, satu dekat paksi merah, satu lagi dekat paksi biru. Tapi yang dekat paksi biru adalah kosong. Satu dekat paksi hijau, satu dekat paksi merah. So you only have 2 electrons over there. Okay, so for these apps, later madam will share. You can use it to use it for your revision later on. Is there any questions? Is there any questions?
No.
No questions. That's very good. Okay, tak ada soalan. Nanti awak punya kerja adalah untuk lukis semua orbitals, ya. Okay, let me share back your screens again. Okay. So now here is some exercises for you to practice back what we have learned just now. Which orbital is allowed, which is not allowed, explain your answer. Normally explanations over here for question number 2, explain your answer. You only need to list out what is possible. So question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yang ini kena hantar dalam Google Classroom. Madam tick dulu ya. So soalan yang pertama, kedua. Yeah, I think all you can do. It's very simple and straightforward lah. Cuma untuk soalan 3 dengan 4, untuk lukis sikit, mesti kena ada 3 paksi. So you need to have your X and Y and Z axis. So question number 4, state and draw the differences. Got 2s, 3s. After you draw, you need to state the difference. Which one is smaller? Which one is bigger? What is the orientation? What is the size? So untuk 5 soalan ini sajalah untuk exercise yang kena hantar dalam GC. Okay. So any questions for topic 2.2?
Madam, about
Yes.
the question 2, how to explain the correct answer?
Okay, the correct answer you don't have to explain because it's already correct. The allowed quantum number, no need explanation. So only explain for those which is not allowed.
Oh, so
Okay.
means not the entire is wrong, just one of the 4 elements is wrong.
No, you have to interpret. Is it A possible? If it's possible, then okay. If B, so for example, madam buat untuk A, 2A. So when value of n equals to 1, possible value of L, it should be only 0. So this is not possible. Because this value.
Okay,
So when you list out, you will see. So explanation is just list out. So when n equals to 1, the possible value of L is only 0. So when you have value 1, the automatic it is not allowed.
Okay, understand.
So you interpret to B, to C, to D. See whether they are allowed or not allowed. Kalau yang allowed memang tak payah explanation. Cuma explain yang tidak dibenarkan saja.
Alright.
Okay, ada soalan lain?
Ada.
Okay. So for put 2.3, our last topic for chapter 2, electronic configuration. So you need to explain Aufbau principle, Hans rules, and Pauli exclusion principle. You need to be able to predict the electronic configuration using SPDF notation. So this is a very important term, huh? Okay, over here. SPDF notation. And then for C, justify the anomalous electronic configurations of copper and chromium. So first of all, what is electronic configuration? So as you see over here, electronic configurations is to describe how the electron arrange inside one atom. So for every element, they will have different electronic configuration. Okay, so yang ini electronic configurations depends on, you need to know about the proton number. So for every element or every atoms being asked, you need to identify what is the proton number. Because from proton number, you know how many electrons are they. So perlu tahu bilangan elektron untuk construct electronic configuration. Then the proton number, you can get it from periodic table. So using representations of electronic configurations of SPDF notation, dua-dua benda sama, okay? Ataupun guna orbital diagram. So in the below here, we can see electronic configurations or the so-called SPDF notations represent like this. So for hydrogens, the proton number equals to 1, or sometimes you see it like this, H equals to proton number equals to 1. Which means also hydrogen has only 1 electron. So you have to use the electronic configurations to fill in the electron. So in this case, the electronic configuration look like this. 1s, 1. 1 represent 1 electron. 2 represent 2 electron, and so on. So beside electronic configuration, you also need to know how to use or how to draw orbital diagrams. So each orbital diagram is represented by a box or a platform. So dekat platform sini, madam akan pakai line. Okay, and then you will fill with the electrons. So the arrow shows the directions of electron speed. So in this case, use the symbol for hydrogen. Either you use a box or you use a line The arrow represents 1 electron. 1 arrow, 1 electron. Sometimes you can see a full arrow. Okay, sometimes you can see a half arrow. So both, for the later syllabus, we will prefer you to use the full arrow. Okay, kalau madam ikut syllabus lah. So pakai arrows yang penuh. Tapi ada masa juga awak akan nampak half-headed arrow. So separuh saja. Kalau ada 2 elektron maka satu half lagi ke bawah. Tapi prefer yang this one. 2 elektron maka 2 arrow. Is everyone with me?
Yes. Yes, madam.
Okay. So our next one will be the rules. Okay. So there are altogether 3 rules you need to memorize, you need to understand. So these rules are used to arrange the electron. Okay, for you to refer how to write electronic configuration or to draw the orbital diagram. So setiap kali kena rujuk kepada 3 rules ataupun principle. We got Aufbau principle, we got Pauli exclusion principle, we got Hans rules. So semua nama ini capital letter kena ada, apostrophe mana yang ada kena ada. Okay, so for the first principles over here, we call it as Aufbau, and the definition is given over here. Electrons are arranged in the atomic orbitals in order of increasing energy. So every time you want to fill the electron, you need to follow the cycle. So 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s. So macam mana nak hafal? Sebenarnya madam pun tak galak akan awak hafal sebab mungkin hafal salah. Okay, but what is the easiest step is you write down the sequence like this. Awak tuliskan sequence 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. Lepas tu start daripada P kan. Kita ada 2P, 3P, 4P, 5P, 6P. Start from 3, we have 3D, 4D, 5D. Start from F, we have 4F, 5F, 6F. So following the raindrops. Okay, following the raindrops. Madam guna highlighter dekat sini. Let me use a striking color. 1S, followed by 2S, followed by 2P, 3S, followed by 3P, 4S, 3D, 4P, 5S, and etc. So, bila awak sudah tahu macam mana nak susun kan daripada diagram ini, susunlah 1S, 2S. Okay, 1S, 2S. Lepas tu ikut direction juga, dia akan sampai 2P. So, 2P, 3S. Lepas tu 3P, 4S. 3P, 4S. And then next one, following the raindrops directions again, we will come back to 3D, then 4P, then 5S. Okay, 3D, 4P, 5S. So for this one, I want everybody to practice drawing the raindrops diagram. Madam panggil ini sebagai raindrops. Raindrops diagram. For you to identify which orbitals come first. Ataupun kalau awak nak hafal boleh, tapi janji jangan hafal salah. Especially when it comes to 4S, 3D, this part. Sebab sekejap 3, sekejap 4, sekejap 5. You need to pay attention. So why we say follow the increasing energy? Because actually, all these orbitals we can represent using energy level diagram. So if you can see over diagrams over here, we got 1S, okay, we got 2S, and then 2P. Madam highlight juga dekat sini. Okay, 1S, 2S, and then 2P. Doesn't matter PX, PY, PZ, they are all same energy. And then after that, we can goes into 3S and then 3P, and then so on. So the energy level is getting higher and higher. So when we want to draw the electronic configurations and orbital diagram, then let's look at the example given for lithium. Okay, so since we know or you can find from the periodic table, the proton number equals to 3. So following alpha principle, we will start from 1s. Dekat sini akan masuk apa yang awak belajar sebelum ni, maximum number for each subshell. Kalau untuk S, maximum 2. Kalau P, maximum elektron adalah 6. Kalau D, maximum adalah 10. Dia akan pakai dekat sini. Okay, so you see, we have 3 electron for lithium. So 1s2 dah penuh. Kita tak boleh jadi S3 sebab maksimum dia 2 saja. So bila sudah penuh, kita anjak kepada orbitals yang atas lagi. Okay, so the next higher energy subshell or the orbitals, it will be 2s. Tapi awak tinggal 1 elektron saja. So 1s2, 1 more electron, it will fall into 2s. So become 2s1. So daripada value dekat sini, dia melambangkan awak punya bilangan elektron ataupun bilangan proton for a neutral atom. And then when we look at the orbital diagram, ini ialah electronic configuration ataupun kita panggil sebagai SPDF notation. Okay, and when you look at the orbital diagram, 1s using 1 line, we write down. 2s using 1 line, write down 2s. So when 1s2 represent 2 electron, we have 1 electron, 2 electron. And then jump on to the next energy level, we have 2s, which is only 1 electron. So we draw another arrow represent the 1 electrons over here. So any questions until this part? Ada soalan?
No.
Okay, if no questions, then we go to the second principle. Okay, the second principle over here, we call it as Pauli exclusion principle. Okay, Pauli exclusion principle. Nama agak panjang eh. So for this principle, it says that no 2 electrons in the same atoms can have the same set of quantum number NLMS. So as what we said before, 1 electrons can only have 1 set of quantum number. So every electrons will have different sets of quantum number. So this sentence or this phrase represent Pauli exclusion principle. So kalau awak tengok set quantum number, dia memang sekurang-kurang ni ada satu value yang berbeza. Nah, dia bukan cakap NLMS keempat-empat mesti berbeza, tak. Salah satu nombor mesti beza. Okay, so no 2 electrons in the same atoms can have the same number of 4 quantum number. And then all electrons have different sets of quantum number. Okay, as you can see over the diagram inside here, for the 2p subshell, you have 5 electrons because here you got 5 arrow. So an atomic orbitals hold a maximum of 2 electrons and they must have opposite spin. So I've given you the example inside your notes. And you must remember this as well. So let's look at this one. Helium atom, we have 2 electrons because proton number equals to 2. So if you have the same set of quantum number, that means you disobey Pauli exclusion principle. So untuk contoh yang pertama adalah salah. So the first one is wrong because value is the same and the direction is the same. So this one is wrong. Then the second one, direction also the same. Value also negative half. So for both of these, is also wrong. So according to Pauli exclusion principle, direction must be opposite, one up, one down, or you can either write it either way. Macam ni pun boleh. Down first and then after that followed by an upwards one. So for this one is correct. And you can see over the sets of quantum number, value of the spin is different. Even though value N, L, M are the same, but the spin are different. So acceptable. So let's look at the examples given. Electronic configuration 1s2 represent 2 electrons. orbital diagram, then the two electrons will have two different sets of quantum number. So bila awak nampak dia bina direction sama dalam orbital yang sama, maka dia adalah salah. Okay, that one is Pauli. So now we look at the third rules, which is the Hans rules. Okay, so in Hans rule, it says that electrons are added to the degenerate orbitals. Degenerate over here means same energy level. Okay, same energy. So how do we say energy? That means Px, Py, Pz are all same energy. Or you have dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square, and dz square. So all of these are degenerate. All of these are degenerate. Degenerate means they all have the same energy level. Okay, so electrons are added to the degenerate orbitals singly first before pairing out. So ini akan jawab kenapa tadi Madam suruh awak tulis set quantum number semua positive half dulu. Lepas tu baru negative half. So let's see this one. So in the case if we have two electrons in the p orbital. Okay, so dekat sini Madam tak label px, py, pz lah. Madam letak sebagai simbol negative 1, 0, positive 1. Okay, so we will fill the electrons singly first before you pair them. So you look at the examples over here. So the bottom example yang ini, dia sudah langgar peraturan Pauli. No, it doesn't obey Pauli because same direction. Pauli cannot accept. But it Hans rule also it cannot accept. It must be different orbital with the same speed. Singly first in different orbitals. It means so the second example is not accepted. Then we'll look at the third example. Okay, singly upwards and then followed by downwards. This one also not accepted. Sebab awak kena isi singly untuk setiap orbital dulu. Unless dia sudah penuh, baru kita pair up. So this is the sentence. Fill the electron singly first before pairing out. And then the last one over here also got it wrong because you need to have same direction for different orbitals. Okay, so mesti kena ingat. Sekarang kalau Madam bagi contoh, let's say Madam bagi 3D. Contoh pun awak salin sekali 3D ada berapa orbital ya?
5.
5. We represent the negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2. So let's say sekarang dekat sini Madam nak awak tuliskan 3D 2. Ada dua elektron. So according to Hans rule, we will fill the electron in the degenerate orbital singly first. So 1, 2. Okay? Or let's say kalau sekarang Madam nak jadikan sebagai 3D6. 3D6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, tak penuh. Baru kita pair up to the last one over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you cannot do pairing out first. You must fill everything singly first before pairing out. This is what according to the Hans rules. So the example given in the notes is the carbon, proton number 6. So this one is not called degenerate. 1s, 2s energy level dia tak sama. So kita tak boleh apply Hans rule dekat sini. Hans rule hanya apply dekat P dengan D orbital sahaja. Boleh catat dekat sini. For P and D orbitals. Or B subshell lah. Tulis subshell. Okay, so 6 proton number means 6 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this part we obeying Hans rules. Number of parallel spin, we have 2 unpaired electron. Okay, 2 unpaired electron. Sebab dia adalah single lah. Ini panggil pair, ini panggil unpair. Okay, so for the 3 principle or the rules, any questions before we go for the example?
Madam.
Yes.
Dia yang first tu dia okay, jadi kiranya untuk recap, Yang above principle tu untuk S saja. Yang Pauli's exclusion principle tu untuk jap.
Tak
Macam
Hazim, untuk semua, untuk semua. Afbal untuk awak macam mana nak susun. Sebab ada banyak 1S, 2S, 3S, 3P semua tu kan. Dia nak awak susun ikut energy.
Okay.
Kita start yang paling rendah, energy dia adalah 1S. So ikut yang raindrops diagram yang tadi madam tunjuk kan. So 1S, lepas tu dia akan ikut dengan 2S. Lepas 2S, 2P. Lepas 2P, 3P. So kalau awak tengok pada diagram ini pun, dia sebenarnya ikut afbal. Sebab 1S, 2S, 2P. Bila awak nampak susunan ini, maka dia adalah ikut afbal principle. Okay? But this one is want to show you about Hans rules. How to fill the electrons according to Hans rule, ya. Kalau poly tak ada direction yang sama, kalau Hans rule dia mesti singly before pairing up. Tapi hanya untuk P and D subshells only. Sebab 1S satu orbital saja, so dia tak ada singly first before pairing up. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. How about other questions? Is there any questions from other practicums? MS7, MS9, MS32?
Madam,
Yes, Sue?
about the 3D6 one, can I have like opposite direction of spinning electrons?
That means you go downwards first.
Yeah.
Okay. Also can. So let's say what Sue represents over here, 3D. She want to go downwards first. Can, but you make sure everything is downwards. Don't want. Sometimes you put it downwards, sometimes outwards. The one singly first over here. It means you need to have the parallel spin. If you want downwards, that means 1s, 2s also downward. So after this 5 electron field, then you want to pair up, then you use the opposite spin. So kalau lagi simple, madam prefer awak tulis yang upwards dulu. Tapi tak ada salah kalau awak nak ikut yang
I
ni.
mean it's like
Okay, so
randomly. I just put like for the second orbital points upwards. For the third orbitals I point downwards.
okay, not. If you want to start with downward, so everything start with downward first. If you want to put outwards, everything start with outward first.
And
Cannot
And
random.
the second question is, like for the orbitals, if we have an orbital that is not occupied by any electrons, we still need to draw it, leave it blank.
Yes. So let's say over here just now we got 3D2, example, just now 3D2 like this. Okay, so for the rest of it, because you have already got 2 electrons, this one consider is one group. So tak boleh kat okay, this one doesn't have electrons, so I don't want to draw it, cannot. You must draw it also, because they are one group. Unless now, for this one, 3s, ain't no electron, so 3s you don't have to draw it. Tapi dekat sini, untuk carbon contoh, one of the orbitals is still empty, but they are considered one group. Even though one empty, you still have to draw it.
Okay.
So you all must remember S orbital, one line, or one orbital. P orbital, P subshell, we have 3 orbitals, 3 line. Okay, D orbitals must have 5 line every time. Tak kisah dia isi 1 ke, penuh isi 10 ke, you have to draw it.
Madam.
Yes.
Dia nanti bila kita nak draw tu, dia yang ikut bentuk tadi tu ke ikut yang line-line tu?
Orbital diagram. Tadi ialah shape. Bukan benda yang sama, yang benda yang berbeza. Yang tadi madam tunjuk dalam AR view itu adalah shape. Sekarang ni adalah diagram. Orbital diagram. So dua benda yang berbeza.
Orbital diagram tu yang line tu kan?
Ya, line ataupun kotak.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now madam show you example from scratch, how to draw this thing. So for this one, write the XPDF notations for the following atoms. Jawapan madam tak bagi, so madam nak semua orang tulis juga. Sebab yang ini memang kena practice hands-on. Tak boleh baca, tengok saja. No. Okay, so for oxygens, we have a proton number of 8, and because it is neutral, number of electrons are the same. Okay, so we will start from 1s, 2, because s orbital maximum 2 electron. 8 tolak 2 tinggal lagi 6. Okay, so kita nak ajar kepada level yang satu lagi, which is 2s. So 2s also maximum electron is 2, so we fill in 8, we still got 4 more left over. So after 1s, after 2s, it comes to our 2p subshell. So p orbital, we know that maximum electron is
6.
6. But we just left with 4 more. Sebab ini 2, 8 tolak 4, tinggal lagi 4. Kita tak cukup 6. Bukan semestinya isi 6. Kita hanya isi apa yang tinggal dekat sini. Kalau boleh sampai maksimum, awak akan pergi lagi orbital yang higher energy. So in this case, oxygens, the SPDF notations or the electronic configurations, it look like this. 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 4. Okay, Madam nak ajar sekali lagi untuk raindrops diagram. I do it from sketch and I want everybody to take notes. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. And then start with p, we start with 2p because we don't have 1p. Okay, so 2p, 3p, 4p, 5p. And then we got d orbital, start from 3 because we don't have 3d. So 3, we don't have 2d. So 3d, 4d, 5d. And then 4f, 5f, and etc. So to do the raindrops, start with 1s, okay, followed by 2s, followed by 2p, 3s, followed by 3p, 4s. Then only we come to 3d, 4p, 5s. Nah, buat yang seterusnya awak buat continue awak punya diagram lah. So over here 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, and etc. So this one you need to understand how to write it. And when you want to write the electronic configuration, it will be slightly easier for you to fill in the electrons. So after the XPGF notation, also Madam want to show you the orbital diagram. So I prefer to write as line, easier. So over here, one line represents one orbital, so 1s. And then I put some gap in between. So this is our 2s. And then after that, 2p. P subshell 3 orbitals represented by the value -1, 0, +1. So ini adalah 2p. So nampak tak perbezaan? Antara 1s, 2s, 2p, gap dia besar sebab energy level dia beza banyak. Tapi bila awak dekat p subshell, -1, 0, +1, 3 ni, Madam letak lebih kurang sama sebab energy level dia sama. So close up a little bit. Dekat sikit dia punya line. Nak buat kotak pun boleh, tak ada masalah. Okay, so how to fill in? Okay, so 1s2, 1 up, 1 down. 2s, 1 up, 1 down. So when you come to 2p, remember about your Hans rules. So we want to fill in singly first before pairing out. So 1, 2, 3, already single, then only you pair out. 4 electron pairing out. Do you get me? Is everybody
madam.
with me? Boleh?
Yes.
Boleh.
Sebab ini konsep baru kalau awak nampak jawapan saja mungkin tak faham sebab dia ada step dia awak kena ikut. Okay, so next one, let's just look at the potassium with the proton number of 19. Okay, jangan risau kalau awak dapat soalan macam proton number dia banyak. Tak ada masalah, awak ikut saja. Step dia, rules dia semua sama. Okay, so now 19 electrons. We start from 1s, 1s2, 2s2, 2p, maximum berapa? P orbital maximum electron? 6. Cuba kira dekat sini, berapa elektron?
10.
10. Ada lagi 9. Okay, so kita proceed lagi lepas 2p, kita masuk 3s. So s orbital, maximum electron is 2. Now it's 12, another 7 to go. So after 3s, we got 3p. So 3p. So kita masuk 6 juga. Okay, sekarang kira berapa elektron dah?
18.
18. So one more, can I fit in 3p? Become 3p7?
No.
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 No, because it's already maximum. So you need to figure out, oh, after 3p is my 4s. Okay, so I fill in another 1 electron in my 4s orbital. So it becomes 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1, 3p6, and 4s1. Everyone's clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Okay,
Yes,
very good.
madam.
All right, so let's just look at the orbital diagrams. Every time you practice both. So 1s, and then we have 2s, and then 2p, same level, close out a little bit. And then we have 3s, and then we have 3p, another 3 orbitals, and then 4s. So you fill in accordingly. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Belajar Hans Rule juga walaupun awak tahu dia penuh. Tapi Hans Rule say, fill singly first before pairing up. So the rest of it, we also fill in until you see your last electron in our 4s, which is an unpaired electron. Okay? Okay, dekat sini
Madam.
Madam pakai line. Kalau kotak kan untuk 2P awak akan nampak macam ni. Kalau Madam letak line, Madam akan letak gap yang sikit. You cannot represent by this one, cannot. You still need to put some gap unless you use the box. Dekat sini susah sikit untuk Madam buat box, so Madam pakai line saja. Okay, yes, any questions?
Madam. Jadi kiranya yang macam, jadi untuk recap balik. Jadi yang kita letak 1s, 2 tu yang macam kuasa tu sebenarnya dia merujuk kepada berapa banyak orbital kita letak.
Bukan orbital, Azim. Bilangan elektron.
Elektron,
Ya, betul. Yang orbital awak kena hafal. S 1 orbital sahaja. P ada 3, D ada 5. Kalau awak memang nak belajar sampai F ada 7 orbital. So you need to make sure to differentiate between orbitals and electrons. Yeah. Okay. So for C we have magnesium. Proton number is 12. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Now I have already 10. So what is the last one I want to fill in?
3s.
3s2. Very good. 3s2. Why 2? Because maximum for the s orbital, we can put it 2. And ngam, we still left with 2. So we just fill in. Okay, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, and 3s2. So orbital diagram can practice on your own. It will left until here. Akan sampai sini saja. Yang lain yang tak ada elektron, tak payah tu lukis. Sampai 3s2 saja. So ini adalah untuk atom with no charge. It is neutral. So any questions for the examples over here?
No, madam.
MS9 Hannah, are you there?
Yes, madam.
Can you follow?
Yes.
Can If any questions can ask.
Okay, madam.
Macam Hazim bagus juga ada soalan tanya. Ada soalan tanya. Sebab kalau ada soalan, madam boleh terus explain. Nanti lama-lama awak lupa, madam pun lupa. Okay. So for today's session, we will stop until here. And the following sessions we will cover, and hopefully we can finish the chapter 2. Okay. One more thing. Hold on. On Tuesday, the lessons will be conducted via video. Like last time, video and then assessment, and then maybe only one video. Maybe there's two. See how Madam arranged first. So for the Tuesday class, Madam will explain the exercises and also the the last part of our 2.3. Okay, but same thing when the class is conducted via video, there is still got formative assessment and also exercises for you to hand in Google Classroom. Bukan maksudnya walaupun video awak tak buat. Sebab last time the video session, ramai juga yang tak buat formative assessment. So for this time round, I will list out the name who missed the formative assessment and also Google Classroom. So sama jugalah instruction yang akan bagi pada hari Isnin ataupun hari Selasa pagi.
Madam, jadi kiranya apa? Kita tengok video tu sama-sama ke ataupun kita tengok dulu video sebelum kelas?
Hari tu awak buat macam mana?
Saya lupa.
Dah lupa. Lain? Orang lain?
Oh ya, tengok dulu kan.
Our class start at 8 until 10 on Tuesday. So that means madam bagi link semua tu. Awak boleh guna 2 jam itu untuk tengok video. Okay, lepas tu jawab soalan, lepas tu hantar. Semua benda sebenarnya kalau awak buat on time, you can finish within that 2 hour and then submit to the Google Classroom. Cuma kalau untuk video, dia punya pro. You can do it a little bit later. Kalau let's say pukul 8 saya tak nak buat, saya buat pukul 9 boleh. Tapi janji awak hantar pada masa. Sebab deadline, due bila madam sudah bagi tahu awal-awal. Dan awak sudah macam biasa dah dengan madam punya pattern kan. So video for you to do on your own. You want to do on time like the normal class, up to you. You want to do 1 day before if I give earlier, can also, no problem. Okay. Tapi nak ikut jadual pukul 8.10, masa tu adalah untuk subjek kimia madam.
Madam, ni macam yang stoichiometry tu ke?
Ya, betul.
Oh, okay. Dah ingat dah.
Okay. Alright, so we have another 10 more minutes. So, you want to do the quizy serentak ataupun awak nak buat lain-lain? Sebab sekarang ni madam try linkkan quizy dengan Google Classroom. So, when you open up your Google Classroom, you can actually see the link over here. So, the formative assessment due today. Let us open one link. So, the instructions over here, either you open using laptop or you using mobile, there's 2 links given in your Google Classroom. So you can click in and then answer. There is 10 questions altogether. So due madam bagi masa sampai pukul 2.30 sebab sekarang sudah 12.50. Okay, so this one also on your own time. So dalam quiz ini, madam nak assess adakah awak faham sets of quantum number yang mana satu allowed, mana satu not allowed ataupun list apa yang allowed, not allowed. And then after that, I want to test the rules or principle that I have mentioned just now. Rules apa yang kita obey, rules apa yang kita tidak obey, ikut soalan. So, nak buat serentak ke masing-masing? Kalau serentak akan lebih masa lah. Sebab ada 10 soalan. What do you think?
Saya
Masing-masing.
tak kisah. Serentak ke ataupun ni tak kisah.
So, madam bagi masing-masing tapi due sebelum pukul 2.30.
Madam.
Sekejap ya Hazim. Siapa yang tak hantar sebelum waktu ini, madam kira dia sebagai absent. Memang madam check setiap kali, cuma quizy susah sikit untuk madam check yang serentak punya. So madam assign into the Google Classroom. So I can see who is attending my lesson, who are not. Okay, so any questions for the homework? Nah, homework sama juga formative assessment dengan exercise. So ada soalan? Ya.
Yang quizzes tu saya guna account sendiri boleh tak? Sebab saya punya yang classroom pun guna account sendiri juga.
Boleh, tapi awak buka link daripada Google Classroom
Okay.
Ya Wafa? Wafa, any questions? Tak ada
And then nanti nak submit Screenshot ke yang
Tak
markah
payah.
tu macam mana?
Awak kalau awak sudah hantar dekat Quizzy, madam access daripada Quizzy. So this one no need screenshot.
Jadi lepas tu kita letak je lah mark as done. Okay.
Ada soalan lain?
Can we reattempt questions?
Sorry?
Reattempt the questions.
I think yes, I didn't set limit time, so I think you can accept unlimited. So maybe one time cannot get, then you can try a few times lah. Okay. So any other questions?
No.
No, lapar, madam. Okay. One more announcement. This Thursday, can I know what is your class from 8 to 10? Thursday. Thursday. 8 hingga 10 siapa punya kelas can I know? Untuk MS 7.
Biology.
MS 789.
Biology.
Biology.
Madam?
Biology Madam Ayu.
Madam Ayu
Bro,
Okay. Madam nak swap kelas Madam buat 8.10. Lepas tu Madam Ayu akan masuk 11 pukul 1.
Untuk Khamis ni je ke ataupun permanent?
Khamis ni, sebab Khamis ni ada interview. Interview Madam, bukan interview awak. Okay? Lepas tu ada 2 lagi pensyarah lain akan masuk sekali dengan kita punya Google Meet. So, Madam nak semua orang masuk on time. Okay, tapi buat biasa je. Madam tanya soalan semua biasa je. Mereka nak observe cara Madam ajar awak aja. Lepas tu, selepas kita habis kelas, after our class, maybe they will ask a few students to give some opinion about the class or maybe the class before this. Okay, so pada masa tu Madam akan left lah. Cuma nak bagi tahu, tak payah buat apa-apa, buat macam biasa saja. Okay, so what we have done before this, be yourself, be as usual. Okay, cuma nak bagi tahu ada orang lain yang masuk sekali. Lepas kelas, Madam keluar link, you stay. Jangan Madam keluar, awak terus keluar. Kami sini, lepas Madam keluar, awak kena stay. Sebab ada pelajar yang kena ada, bukan kena interview lah, volunteer untuk interview kot. Depends mereka nak interview awak macam mana. Okay?
Apa volunteer? Sekejap, apa interview?
Interview biasa-biasa.
Dia pilih kah?
Tak tahu.
Oh dia.
Tak tahu. Don't need to nervous. They are interview me, not interview you. Ask you to give opinion. You rasa Madam Eva ajar macam mana, faham ke tak faham, you just tell them. Whatever you feel, tell them. Tak suka Madam Eva ke macam mana, bagi tahu. Madam dah bagi banyak kerja sangat, bagi tahu. Tapi janganlah. Be nice to me, Okay, so that's all for today. So any questions you want to ask before I leave the session?
No, madam.
No, Madam.